In Houston, the Deshaun Watson situation gets worse instead of better. Tony Busby, the lawyer who represents now 9 women who will be bringing lawsuits. There have been 3 filed. And what Busby said on Instagram today, as we complete our due diligence, we will file the remaining ones in due course. We are talking to several others. We talked about this at length today on PFT Live, and I don't have much to add to the reality that in this day and age, if you're not guilty of the things that Deshaun Watson is alleged to have done, you are still guilty of putting yourself in a horrible situation by going to women's homes for massages with no witnesses present, having women come from Atlanta to Houston to massage you in your hotel suite with no witnesses present, because you are setting up the possibility that someone is going to accuse you of doing something you didn't do. If he didn't do anything, even if he's completely clean and it's just 9 people now making false or exaggerated claims against him, and he walks away scot-free when he defends himself, the mere fact that he allowed himself to be in these situations where it's an inherently intimate act and there's 2 people present and there's no way to prove who's telling the truth later. Charean, this was a disaster waiting to happen for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, no question, Mike. And you make a great point there. And, you know, when the first one came out, it didn't raise a really that big of a red flag for me. But as the days have gone on and more of these have come out, there's huge concerns, and there's huge concerns from a Houston Texans standpoint of where this goes, and for any team that's interested in trading for Deshaun Watson. You're definitely going to want to know more about this before you give up mortgage your entire future to trade for a franchise quarterback like Deshaun Watson.
And, you know, there's all sorts of crazy speculation out there. And I want to say it is crazy speculation. There's no evidence that the Texans had any role in this, that they're behind this in any way. No one is credibly suggesting that. And it would be ludicrous if they did it, because if you'd get caught, that's the kind of thing you lose your franchise for. And how does it help the Texans? Yes, it kills the trade market, but you get to a point where you can't keep him either if there's this avalanche of accusations. Oh, hey, this is great. We came up with a way to get Deshaun Watson to not want to trade. Now, what are we going to do with the fact that he's been accused by 9 different people and counting? And now the NFL, as expected, when cases like this go from 1 to 2 to as many as 9, if not more. Letter was sent by Lisa Friel, who's in charge of the NFL's internal investigations department, to Tony Busby. I became aware of the lawsuit you filed yesterday, as well as the one you filed this morning, which contained various allegations of misconduct. I'm writing to let you know the league has opened an investigation into these allegations and to request the cooperation of your clients in our investigation. Such cooperation would begin with engaging in Zoom interviews with myself and another league investigator, at which, of course, you would be present. See, the NFL has so much for confidential being placed at the top. sorry, Lisa Friel. You sent the letter to the wrong lawyer. There's nothing confidential or discreet about Tony Busby when it comes to this case, or as far as I can tell, anything else. Here's the advice that I would have given Deshaun Watson. Assuming, and look, I've been lied to by clients before. It's one of the things I don't miss about practicing law. You get lied to all the time. You get lied to by everybody. Everybody's got an angle, and you got to be very careful, and you got to develop a good BS filter. But if I was convinced that Deshaun Watson had not done any of the things he had done, my advice to him would have been, settle these cases now. Make payments now with a confidentiality agreement and an agreement that they will not cooperate with the NFL, because the NFL has no power to compel any of these individuals to talk. So, I don't want to pay $100,000 to somebody for something I didn't do. Well, okay, that's fine. But it's a cost of being stupid enough to put yourself in a situation where you could be falsely accused. You need to pay that tax. Otherwise, this whole thing is going to potentially blow up on you. And here we are, Charean, just 2 days after it all first surfaced, it's blown up on Deshaun Watson. And again, this all assumes he didn't do it. Different conversation if he's guilty. Even if he's not, it's blowing up and it's a mess, and it all could have been avoided if he started writing checks that he's uniquely qualified and able to write.
And they don't like doing that, Mike. Well, let's pull the curtain back. You know, a lot of teams have fixers that go in and fix these things and pay off people, and it goes away quietly. It's just a fact of doing business. It's what happens in the NFL. Guilty or not guilty, it's the easiest way to make these things go away without it coming out publicly. Because when you Google these names, these things don't go away. It doesn't really matter whether you're innocent or guilty, because these things never go away. And people are always going to remember this no matter what. When you Google it, it's going to come up. So the easiest way to make it go away is to pay off the money, right? So let's hope, Mike, that he's not guilty. I do hope that. But this has got to play out, and it's going to be interesting to watch what happens here and what Houston does, and if there is a trade to happen now. But I don't see a trade happening now, Mike. This thing's got to get cleared up first with a little more clarity.
It's going to be harder and harder to get people to give him the benefit of the doubt who don't know him, who don't have a vested interest in this. I mean, I know him. I've been around, and that doesn't make him not capable of these things, because a lot of people, surprise, surprise, act differently in private than they act in public. But I was stunned by the first one. But, you know, hey, the human reaction with each additional one, you start thinking, man. And I'm at the point where it's just, man, how stupid, if you didn't do it, how stupid to put yourself in these situations where you're having these interactions and it's under the guise of a massage and there's no one there, an inherently intimate act, and there's no one there. Sim said today he got a massage like that when he was playing. His wife was in the room to be the witness. Or you just record the massage and save the file so there can never be any misunderstanding of what happened in that room. These are the kinds of steps that a prudent person needs to engage in to avoid exactly what happened. And there's a lesson here to be learned by all professional athletes moving forward, or anyone in a position where you could potentially become the target for allegations that you did something you shouldn't have done. And again, this all assumes that you engage in behavior that is proper. If you engage in improper behavior, you get what you deserve, but you can still get yourself into a problem if you always do everything the proper and appropriate way.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.